Hello, welcome back to the All That to Say podcast, girlies. Happy Sunday,
Happy
everyone.
Sunday.
How is everyone doing? How are we feeling? What's the pulse check? How are you, Sam?
Girl, I won my ticket case. I got a
Like
ticket.
a speeding
I forgot to
ticket?
tell you. No, it's been like this whole fight with Austin because I paid for a parking meter. I went and hung out with this friend and we went on a hot girl walk. She was like, I cannot believe you do not have the app. Like, you're so old. And I was like, oh my God, whatever. I can pay through the parking meter, yada yada. And literally I was paying through the parking meter and I had paid for like 4
Yeah.
hours because it was cheap. It was like $3 or something like that. It was a Mueller. And
Right.
I come back and there was a ticket on my car. And I called and I'm psycho. I sent like 20 emails to 20 different people. I just looked up like the entire court and I was like emailing anybody possible. And each person gave me a different answer until finally someone was like, okay, we'll terminate for you. It looks like the meter got messed up or something like that.
If there's a will, there's a way. I could not believe being just like a federal employee getting an email from
Why?
what is your email? It's like like martineztana@gmail.com being like who it like I get paid $35K a year. Why?
I emailed
That's
so many
hilarious.
people. I emailed so many people and like I would make the most outrageous like title or whatever. I'd be like unjust in Austin or like justice is not served in Austin.
Crazy. Oh my God.
So I was so mad. I'm like, I paid my $2 and y'all are trying to charge me $75. There's no way. Yeah. There's no way. And like they kept being like, they were like, oh, just come into court or like you can do it on Zoom now. Like they were like, oh, it's like no big deal. I'm like, no, absolutely not.
I
not
doing
the hell
this.
out of you
for that. Actually, like, why not? Why not? Yeah. Well, hey, pro tip: if you live in Austin, just know maybe like we'll monetize and like gatekeep the list of employee emails or something. And it's just like, hey, $5 and we'll release the email of the employee that did terminate this parking ticket. And
I can just start selling my email format. It literally was like, unjust in Austin, Texas. This is unfair and unequitable. Like, I literally was just throwing out words that I know they would be like okay, we
second stream of income, period. Oh my God. Clip that, put that one on TikTok. Keep that. Seriously, I'm not kidding. That's good.
Like, people are gonna think I'm crazy. I mean, I was crazy, but I was like, I'm not paying $75.
It is crazy behavior, but you kind of have to act crazy to get what you want sometimes, and that's just like a life lesson you have to learn.
It was so funny too because they were like, we'll get back to you in like up to 2 weeks. Or really backed up. No, these people were responding that day. Like, they were scared. And like, you're right. I'm so sorry to the employees. Like, I know what it's like to work for a federal or state job, but like, do not charge me $75. Thank you.
$75 parking ticket.
I'm
what?
Passionate about
what
that.
kind of inflation story is that? Oh, remember when parking tickets, like in college, they used to be like $10, and if you didn't pay on time, then it would maybe go up to $20. $75 for a parking ticket, criminal.
I know. It's like, this is a joke. This is literally a prank. Like, there's no way. I mean, I have done this before. Like, one time my car was hitched up to be towed. Like, I literally saw it driving away. I stood in front of the car and I was like, you are not taking my car. And I fought with the man. I finally, it's kind of an embarrassing story, but I was in college and I finally was like, this is my bank account. It had $5 in it.
Fair enough.
This man was like, oh, so you can't pay the $300 fee? He's like, you don't have any credit cards? And I was like, no, here's my wallet. And he was like, okay, I'll unhook it. So
for that,
yeah, that's
I've
how
never
you get
understood how like towing companies like legally operate. Like, does it not seem like the sketchiest thing ever? Like,
it's not even the same company. They hire someone else.
And who did I hear this from? It was one of my girlfriends like mentioned like after so many days, they straight up just like they sell your car. Like, what if you went on vacation and your car got towed and you wouldn't know until you came back. Like after so many like weeks of it being in their lot, they just straight up they sell your car. How is that legal? What terms and conditions did I agree to for that to take place? Insane.
I lost my mind. Honestly, this whole thing, I totally forgot to tell you. But that was what I've been dealing with this whole week is my whole inbox. Like you can swipe through. It's just like City of Austin, Court of Austin, like hearing officers,
the police officers. Like, girl, I don't even serve in Travis County. Like I'm just like I'm a county over. How did you get my email address? That is hilarious. Well,
it's so funny because I accidentally sent them through my iCloud email too. So my iCloud has like 10 people responding to
by
it.
any means necessary. And it worked. It worked. Wow. Way to go. Proud of you. So yeah, we'll drop a link to the email template and all of the emails. If anybody wants to purchase those, we'll put it behind a paywall. If you are listening on Spotify, thank you. Love you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, could kiss you on the mouth for doing that. We're trying to up our YouTube audience, but my video is like a little bit delayed, so just like ignore that. We are professionals here, but I am not showing up in my best capacity, and I'm just not able to like troubleshoot this one. So sorry, gang. But my week is going as expected. Like I'm moving in 4 days, I think. Is that what we're at? Either 4 or 5 days, and all my furniture is pretty much gone. Like, it's just like some of these things that like I just gotta go take to Goodwill. It's crazy. But that's a topic for another time. We've talked about it enough. I'm ready to get into the week of pop culture because like there's so much to talk about. It was like a pretty buzzing week.
There is.
Yeah.
It was.
Especially music. Oh God, especially music.
Artists and their pop culture stuff, new releases. It's kind of crazy how much has been going on.
With new releases, the press circle just goes around and around. So we get clips, we get podcast interviews, we get behind the scenes on relationships. I'm very excited to talk about Selena and Benny. Oh. I'm excited to talk about Chappell Roan on Call Her Daddy and all of the mom community controversy that's going on. I know you haven't listened to the Call Her Daddy Chappell Roan episode, but I'm excited to.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think I've seen a clip.
Love it. And I think we've got another one. So theme of today's episode is just like a week in pop culture, and your girls are going to be talking about it, giving you a rundown. If you've maybe been a little offline or disconnected, maybe you've heard a couple of these stories and want to know our takes, want to chit chat, have a fun sun date with us, or maybe we'll teach you a couple things that you'll be caught up to speed on. So I'm ready to dive in if you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yes, I'm ready. Okay, do you want to start with your Chappell Roan?
I think when the news dropped that Chappell Roan was going to be on Call Her Daddy, my first thought was shocked. Like I'm shocked Chappell Roan agreed to go on Call Her Daddy. It just does not seem like her audience. You agree? Okay, yeah.
I agree.
It's weird, right? We know like
I agree.
Chappell is like, you know, and I say this in like not a disrespectful way, but like a blue-haired raging like feminist. Like she is just like so like, she's not afraid to speak her mind, and she's just like that type of girl, right? And I feel like Call Her Daddy, like Alex Cooper, like, she's pretty, I would say, moderate and keeps it pretty safe. Like the most kind of like controversial thing, and this isn't even controversial, but she had Kamala on her podcast, is very vocal about women's rights and reproductive rights and being very pro-choice. But like compared to Chappell is probably like crazy conservative. Like someone like Alice Cooper is like not doing enough is what I would think someone like Chappell would be thinking. So crazy she went on there.
Yeah. I just wasn't expecting it. I feel like they're two completely different brands. I feel like you were saying, like, I feel like Alex stands for something else, and the way that she portrays her podcasts and I don't know. Chappell is just like completely different. I just would never like Venn diagram them ever.
The only thing after listening to the podcast and something I've known about Chappell is like just knowing where she's from. She's from the Midwest. If you've seen any of her like throwback photos she's posted, like I feel like her and I were like low-key so similar in high school. I like look at some of like the things she maybe wore, like she was wearing the boot cut, she was wearing the, you know, the belt buckle. She knows what like 4-H and FFA is, but she knew she was like probably more and more artsy and just like kind of tried to fit in a little bit with just like the crowd back home to not like make her childhood like experience miserable. And I relate to that so much. So maybe her and Alex can like gab a little bit, like at least Chappell kind of like maybe gets Alex like a little bit and Alex's audience a little bit. But yeah, totally agree with you. So
yeah,
basically the interview, it was fun. I think the only thing I really learned is like Chappell is in a relationship. Like she's not single, so that was like fun new news. We got like an inside on just like, you know, my thing with Chap, and I love her. I love her music. I saw her this fall, Icon. Is she is super negative, and I've thought that for like a period of time. I think like a couple things can be true. She can like have blown up so quick. She's been in the industry for a long time, but like I understand she had some maybe like public safety anxiety, and just a lot of like anxiety is manifesting as being very yeah, I just feel like Chappell has been like pretty negative for the last like little bit. I even noticed like seeing her at ACL, like her stage presence and whatnot, a lot of her stuff in interviews. I just like generally think she's like just kind of like a negative person, and I can still like appreciate the artist in her. I can still appreciate the art, but like I'm not gonna lie, I just she's a little too negative for me to like. Yeah.
I have a question for you because I agree. And I saw a TikTok and people are saying it's just because she isn't media trained. And so she, like, because celebrities nowadays have the entire roster of people to tell them what to say, what to do. And every single interview is just, you don't even get substance anymore from people usually, right? This is very general. People like you can ask them what color they like and they're like, I love the color wheel and I love how the sky, like, you know what that's a generalization, but I want to know if that's your insight because I've seen people kind of have that argument of like, you don't like her because she's completely different because she's not media trained and like X, Y, and Z. And so I'm kind of curious what you think of that.
At her core.
No. I I agree because I feel like every single time I see something about her, it's not great. And it's something with her complaining or not happy with something. And like, I just wonder if she's just one of those people that just got famous and didn't realize what comes with it. Like, just
she did
really
say
has
exactly that in her in the Color Daddy episode, of just like not having any idea what this all entailed. Like nobody could prepare her for this. I just think like at the end of the day, like there's some people, you know, we all know them, people who genuinely are just like glass half empty kind of people, and I just think that's her. You know, she did like still give like praise and like thanks for like she is so grateful for like the fame and even just like the money and like being able to be in this position, but like generally, yeah, she just doesn't have I've never once in my life seen her only have a good thing to say. It's always been backed by something like negative. And so that just makes it difficult for me to like really die and ride for someone, you know? But all of that to say, the biggest headlining, I feel like stuff out of the interview is her and the mom community. So I think like a couple things can be like, it's so easy for things to be just like, you hear a clip and you run with it. I do want to say Chappell specifically said my friends are miserable that are moms. She never said all moms are miserable. And I think that's like an important delineation.
Yeah.
So basically, if you don't know, Chappell like was talking about how like she has been like the only single friend. Like all of her friends from back home are like they all have kids. She's still really good friends with a lot of like people from before, before Chappell, BC, literally BC. They try to come to her shows, but like they have kids, they have to get babysitters. And they were just like having a conversation, and Chappell basically said like, my friends who have kids are in hell. Like they talk about they're in hell. And so, all the mom communities, and if I know anything about the mom community, they are fucking cutthroat. Like they know that shit slide, and I get it, but I also am like, I think they need to like relax a little bit. Like don't take it so personal. But a lot of the conversation is like, Chappell, you're supposed to be a feminist, and being a feminist is like uplifting any woman on any like life choice. But I just don't think that's what Chappell was doing. I think if you were to like hot mic her at the end of the day, she probably would say anybody with a kid is miserable. But in the interview specifically, she said like, my friends with kids are miserable. So I don't know. What do you think? It sounds like you have seen some of this going on.
I have seen it, but it's funny because I've seen like a video, and the comment section is the more like hot
Always. Yeah.
take because people are like arguing in it. Because I saw like a little glimpse, and like they were saying, yes, she
Yep.
said my friends specifically, but I think that it's just the way that she says it and the way that she talks, because I
Totally.
can see what she's saying, like my mom has always told me, do not have kids until you're ready
Yeah.
to give up your life, your former life. And like, that's not anything hateful. It's just the reality. When you have kids,
Yep.
there are sacrifices that need to be made. And obviously, people make it work. Money is a big factor. Like, I see families go out of the country together, they go on these trips, and like everything seems fine and dandy, right? And like, Kardashians, they
Nannies.
have
Yep.
millions of nannies and all the things to help build a village, I guess is the term. But I just think it's the way that she said it. Motherhood is hard. And I know that you and I had this conversation. I always thought I would have kids by
Yep.
25. That is not happening anytime soon. I was thinking 30. Now that I'm about to hit 27 this year, I can't
Totally.
imagine it in 3 years. I just can't. I don't have, and like, it's kind of funny because it reminds me of Sex and the City, that one episode in season 2, I want to say, when
Yes.
they go to the baby shower in the
Well, of
suburbs.
course, because she's still the
Do
baby
you know the one I'm
name.
talking about?
Duh.
Okay. And yes, okay, yes. So it kind of reminds me of that, because they're walking in and they're like, oh my God, she has the life. She has the big suburb house, rich husband, whatever. But then they realize,
Yep.
we don't want this. We live in New York City. And like, it's like a perspective
Totally.
thing. It's what you want. And if that's not what you want right now, then why does it matter if you I mean, I guess we could
Yeah.
all be more sensitive to each other for sure, but like, I wouldn't judge any of my friends that were
Yep.
to go and have kids and live in the suburbs right now. Like, if that's the life that you want, then great. But I also think it's like a two-way street. You shouldn't judge someone for
Yes.
moving to New York in their late 20s, for, staying in Austin for their late 20s and wanting to, like, I had the same thing. Like, Josh and I are moving closer to downtown.
Yep.
Like, it's the opposite. We came in our 20s, we lived a little
Yep.
bit further away. Now we're moving closer. So like, I just wish there was like, I
It's
feel like
both
it's
sides.
both sides.
Which
I
side
don't know if you've
judges
seen
the
that.
other side more? Which
I
side
don't
is
know.
more jealous of the other side more? I think that is like the underlying thing. I can see like
Yeah.
I can see a lot of moms, people back home from where I'm from, like being jealous of where I am at right now. And like the way they project that is like
Yeah.
looking down on
Yeah.
me for my choices. But I can also see the vice versa. People
Mhm.
like myself who are so anti having children right now and are so like, I can't even wrap my head around that. I know I want it in the future, but I cannot comprehend it. But my side, maybe when I'm feeling a little bit
Mhm.
lonely, maybe when I'm like, I haven't found my person, maybe I'm like projecting and casting some of my jealousy on some of my friends who do have that. Like,
Yeah.
that's just what it is. And I think at the end of the day, yeah, it's just like a
Yeah.
product of
I
like
agree.
where you're at in your lifestyle, your era. And I think women just kind of hate women, and we just are always pitting each other against each other. And so I do, if the underlying theme of like the mom community is like feminist is like a spectrum, I totally hear you and I agree with you, but that's not what Chappell said in her interview. I think Chappell probably agrees, like, you know, would come for your neck, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's a product of feminists and like the
No, I
movement
see
or
some
anything
of the
like that. Like,
moms. No,
I could
I
never
saw a couple of
imagine
videos of
that.
moms being like, Chappell,
But
you claim you're a feminist, and that's like what they start their video with. But like, I don't know. I feel like, yeah,
I
it's
disagree.
interesting. So yeah, that was big news. Okay,
Yeah.
should we go to Selena?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm gonna be honest. I really was shocked when she came out that she was dating Benny Blanco.
Now. Yeah, it's been a while.
A long time ago. I think they've been together for 2, maybe 3 years now, I want to say. But I mean, I knew he was this big music producer, like huge. I mean, literally our entire childhood. Like I remember middle school, all of those jams that he like releases, right? And I don't know if you've had this pop up on your for you page, but I've been seeing interviews of him talking about his relationship. I've seen an interview with him and Selena together, and I see it now. He is like so. I mean, again, we always talk about social relationships. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but the way that they look at each other is just like, I am so happy for both of them. At first, it was like, I'm happy for Selena because I'm a big Selena Gomez fan, but like, I'm happy for both of them. Like, he was talking about, and I think you would love this. He was talking about how he didn't even say when she gets angry or mad. He's like, when she's feeling a little spicy, and like, he was like, I let her talk it out and I let her like know that I'm listening. And then once we calm down a little bit, then we have a conversation. And I'm like, she needs someone like any woman needs someone like that. A man that can acknowledge that women have feelings. We have, I mean, honestly, I go in like rage fits, right? But you know, it's nice that he is like emotionally there for her and wants to be there for her. And you can tell when she looks over at him, she's like, oh my God, thank you for like listening. And it's so funny because their proposal like was a Taco Bell picnic. Like, I'm happy that she gets a sense of normalcy. Like if I watched her Chef and Me show. I told you I'm a huge fan of that show. And the whole premise, in my opinion, is just her being normal, learning how to cook. She has her best friend Raquel on there, her grandparents, her sister, her family and cousins, whoever comes on. And like, I'd always just viewed her as like a normal celebrity. I mean, obviously, she is a huge deal. But whenever I see her, I think of like the Texas little girl that grew up to be a star. And so, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Have you seen any of these interviews?
Like, I feel like I've seen everything. I have seen every interview. I've watched every single interview, and I have like continued to like seek it out. I am so obsessed. You know, I know you're a huge Selena fan, and I have historically not been a Selena fan, and it's not like I'm not like a hater. I never got behind her. I've never loved her music. I never loved Wizards of Waverly Place. There's just nothing about Selena that I have ever gravitated towards. But that's just because there's so many celebrities to gravitate towards. So, you know, she just hasn't been my girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so many Disney Channel stars like, that came from that era too.
Right. I was watching Hannah Montana,
totally
not Wizards of Waverly Place, like that kind of thing. Oh my God.
Yep.
I have fallen in love with Selena through Benny, and I hate that it's taken me like a man to make me fall in love with her, but like I am so obsessed. Benny Blanco is the definition of a man, of a husband, of a partner. Like, girls, this is what we should be going for.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I first started seeing the pictures, I was like, girl, huh? But it is so true. Benny is like the kind of guy that I would fall in love with. I would not be at first like probably like head over heels like, oh my God, that like let me go snatch him up. You know, if I was out at like a bar. But if I had a single conversation with him, I would be like, oh, I'm in love with you. You are the hottest man in the world, because I fall in love from personality, which has not always been the case, been a very new recent thing for me. I love everything about it. I love the inside that we're getting from Benny on like his stories of like producing some of our biggest hits, like just talking about like evolution and like
Oh my
I think music
God.
producing is such an interesting career path because like there's there's a lot of them, but there's only a couple who are like very well known, and to get an inside scoop on one of the most like acclaimed successful one is so fun. I cannot wait to see the wedding content. I wonder if they'll keep it private or not.
I know.
What do you think?
I just like I feel like they're gonna try and make it as private as they can be. I don't see like a people spread or like an exclusive. I just don't see that happening. I see them like I do see them having a big wedding because I feel like Selena wants that. But I just don't see a people exclusive. But like you said, like I was watching all these videos of him like talking about Teenage Dream and producing it. I fell in love too. He's so talented. I can't imagine like Selena, like all the stories she has, but all the stories he has, all the people he knows, like all the things he can do. So
I know.
I'm so happy that you're seeing this because I just love them together. At first, like you said, I was like, oh,
they look
Selena,
good together now,
girl.
though. Like I think like the last couple of like, oh my God, his like, it's Vanity or no, is it AD Architectural Judge? Whoever he did the home tour with, I can't remember.
Yes.
Okay, I was
I think he was
obsessed
AD.
with his home. Oh my God. I loved that interview. He was so cute, charming, and funny. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I hope they do a wedding Vanity Fair exclusive. I don't think we need necessarily like the inside like the photos, but I would love just like after the fact we do get one photo of like one of the dresses she wears, and we get just like a little bit of an inside scoop on some of the details, some of the wedding planning. I would love that. We'll see. Obsessed.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so
what talk about?
What is your next topic?
Okay, I think we do.
else?
I think we do the Remi podcast. So I'm a big fan of Remi Bader, and I always one thing about me is like and I've talked about this with like so many people. Like, my opinion is like very anti-Reddit, very anti-snark pages, very anti-hater, giving people the benefit of the doubt always. Give me a reason to not trust you. But by default, I just think Remi is so easily hated on, and it's so upsetting. It's like a controversial one because I am like, I'm not part of like the plus size community. I'm not part of like the body positivity community or I don't feel like I'm like a spokesman for it, right? Like I don't know what that experience is like, and so you have to hold space for.
So what do you like about her content then? I just want to ask because I feel like people would want to know if you're not a part of that community and you don't know it, then
Remi
what do you
has
like about
never
her?
signed up to be a face of the body positivity movement. She said that from day one. She just wants to be a content creator of like whatever phase of life you are in with your body and your mental health. Have fun and love yourself and be yourself. And that's all she's ever shown up for her audience to be. That's why I love her content. Her try-on hauls, they're hilarious. Her talking about her story times, she's hilarious. She's just like I just think she's a good follow because like I just like appreciate her personality. So yeah.
Okay, so you're more into the content creation, the personality versus maybe the plus size community aspect of her content.
Because she's not ever been like, I'm a, but that's.
No, totally. I'm just asking because I've seen, me. I've always, usually when you bring a topic, I've seen both sides
wholeheartedly.
I do see.
But that's why
Yes.
But that's why the other side,
I
think people are like, I don't understand that take because it's like if you're like Remi, like you're putting her in this like plus size community box that she has like never co-sponsored. Like she has always been like, I will talk about my journey, but stop putting me on this pedestal of like this person that has to show up perfect and exactly how you guys like want me to. Like I just don't. Does that make sense?
No, That makes sense because I actually have never followed her. I knew her name. I did not know who she was. I never followed her. I've never seen her on my For You page
Yep.
until all this drama started going down. The only thing that I have seen against her, and it's not necessarily about, I don't know how to phrase it. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. What I have seen, and you're followers, so I can ask you this now that I have a source, right? People are saying that she went for the cash grab and monetized it, and a lot of people are saying that she lied about the journey. And again, I don't follow her, so I don't know, but people are saying that she was blocking people that were asking about her weight loss, was very quiet about it, wasn't honest, because people are saying that I don't follow her, but they're saying that she was posting videos about like, I do this to lose weight, I eat this to lose weight. She was taking brand deals and sponsorships, and she was doing all this stuff without saying, plus the gastric, or I know it's not gastric, but whatever surgery she got. And so a lot of people, from what I have seen, at least on the side that I'm on, they're not upset that she lost the weight. A lot of them are upset that, like, I saw one comment, and I do want to acknowledge it because it kind of breaks my heart. Someone commented that when Remi posted she was going to start her weight loss journey, that it inspired her to lose weight too. And then when Remi lost the weight that she lost a lot of it. That person felt bad about herself because she didn't lose the same. And so I guess that's kind of what I've been seeing. Again, I don't follow her. I don't have the perspective.
Think all of that
but
is like
what do
a
you
very
think?
fair assessment. I have never seen any of her sponsored content or her ever saying this helps me lose weight. I have never heard that. That could be like one of my blind spots. I have just personally, yeah.
I don't know.
What
That's
I
what
think
people have been
about
saying. I don't
her
know.
lying, I don't think she's lied about it. Now people can say, well, if you like don't tell the
Okay.
whole truth, it's a lie. So I think if you listen to, she was on Khloe in Wonderland. That was her like podcast episode where she like talks about it. I think with context, if people are willing to like give her some grace and hear her out, it will like make a lot of sense. Like I always trusted that she was going to eventually tell her audience. She made a video and she made it like very apparent with her audience. I'm no longer talking about my body. I need a break. I'm not going to be sharing anything that I'm doing. Please stop talking about my body. And I think it was at her like absolute peak. She had shared some of the back issues she was going through. Like she was getting like really like health wise like was really declining. And at that point, behind the scenes, what none of us knew was going on is her blood work. She was told that she was becoming infertile, and it was like a huge wake up call. And so she has also told her audience back in the day, she was like, she tried Ozempic very early on, and she's told her audience about it. It did not work for her. It did not work. In her interview, she said she ended up trying it again. And I think she tried like a different, there's like different like medicines to it.
Different
And she
brands.
said again, like it just the results weren't there. She went to like a huge inpatient like facility. She's been really open about having gone to like eating disorder facilities. But while all this was going on, she was approached about like this. I can't remember if she was approached or if she like looked into it. This new surgery, it was very new. She got it done. Her boyfriend and her, they were still together when she got it done. The recovery was supposed to be a couple of days. It ended up being like 6 weeks of her being like so ill, throwing up like 24/7, being extreme. She had to move in with her parents. And then her and her boyfriend break up because she mentioned like, hey, you're kind of being distant physically. We haven't been together for a minute. He said, no, it's nothing. Comes back, like a couple days later and said, hey, I lied to you. I have not been physically attracted to you for like a long time. And they break up. And she said the mental turn up of that was like, I've had my parents down my throat my whole life talking about my body. She still loves her parents, but it's been like difficult growing up in that household. She's had the internet, and she basically was like, this one person who I thought loved me no matter what is no different than the people in my comment sections. So not only was she going through a breakup like that, not only was she so physically ill, getting a new surgery where she was like, I don't want to endorse this new surgery that was supposed to be a couple days of recovery, turned up being 6 weeks. Like, all of that to say, of course she didn't want to share this with everybody right away, guys. Like, can you imagine like going through that? But I also hold truth to like someone like that who was like, I was like on Remi's side and I was comparing myself to her, but I think that's a really tough spot to put somebody in. But I also understand she shares her content. But all that to say, like, I think Remi will forever and always be a controversial person, and it is what it is. Like, I can totally understand and respect why people would be like, I cannot take her content anymore, it's unhealthy for me. Then by all means, but I don't think that gives anybody the ability and respect to like continuously comment on this girl's body. Like, people are crazy with how much they talk about people's bodies.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's my take.
Okay. I think no. That gives really good insight because I didn't know that she did come out and was like, stop commenting on my body. I don't want to hear it. And then like obviously everything. So I think if you're interested, you should go check out the podcast because I know I'm going to because like I said, I'm indifferent. Like I don't know her, so I'm not really in the lore of everything. But I had seen the like monetization and things like that. And so
I wonder because she came out with Khloe. She had like
no idea
an interview with like a magazine and like a cover for it. Yeah, like I wonder what she gets paid for something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. They were saying like she just was taking sponsorships for companies that promote weight loss and like it's just not necessarily truthful. But again, I don't know. I have not seen this content. I think like I'm on semaglutide and like people like to hide it. I genuinely don't care. And like I tell people about my weight loss journey and I always mention it, but like also I definitely don't mean to hide it if people perceive it as that. Like I've lost weight, I can acknowledge that. And if people ask me and they're like, "Hey, I've noticed you lost weight." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm on semaglutide." And like obviously that's not the only thing that has made me lose weight. I work out every day, I go for walks, like it's just helping piece to it. But I think too it's hard with weight loss, especially honestly, you would think in 2025 people would be more in general more open to it and more understanding of different things, and I don't know if that's necessarily
Interesting point
true.
you bring up. Yeah.
I just like I feel like it's like, back in the day people would be like, you have to lose weight, you're overweight, all the things. Like skinny jeans was a big deal, the crop tops, the great body, right? And Hollister was something we looked up to. And it was like a prominent thing, but it was never like you should be healthy, you should work out to lose weight. I had always seen the ED side of it, being on Tumblr. And so now it's kind of weird to me when people attack people for being on a GLP-1, semaglutide, Ozempic, or anything like that, or get a weight loss surgery because they are unhealthy. That part doesn't make sense to me. Maybe because I'm on it and it's done wonders to me. I just don't understand
It's like a line between, are people owed medical privacy versus like not. It's interesting. I don't know. I think it's like everybody's on their own kind of journey of like what they want to disclose or not. It's I don't have the right answers. That's for dang sure.
No. But yeah, that's interesting. I feel like you gave a really good both side.
Yeah, right.
Especially
Like
being a
I'm
fan
a
of
fan
hers,
person. I
so
also can like absolutely
yeah.
hold true for like some of the points that you've raised or some of like my blind spots. Like, but that's what I mean by like I'm not affected by like her content. So someone who is like, yeah, you have every right to your opinion as long as you're just like not commenting on her body and also holding like a little bit of like nuance for like all she kind of went through. Like I think it'd be also crazy. Imagine if she did have this surgery and she talked about it and in like something bad were to happen, then people would attack her for like, you're endorsing an incredibly dangerous like surgery. So like I just don't think Remi can win,
Yeah,
but
that's
whatever.
true.
What else? What else?
I agree. Well, okay, so
Let's do it.
let's move into Ariana Grande.
Take it
There's
away.
a lot of things going on with her. let's start with the Wicked for Good poster being released. I believe it's at Comic-Con. Stunning.
No.
Gorgeous. No notes. I am so excited to see part 2, especially because we haven't seen it live. You and I have not seen the whole show. We also just know like the premise of it. We haven't obviously been able to see it. And so everyone's saying it's going to be the most heartbreaking and like, oh, beautiful portion of it. I'm so excited because we cried during the Wicked. I cried a few times during the Wicked premiere.
It was so good.
So
yeah, the poster.
It's so good.
Man, whoever is behind the press of Wicked, just wow, absolutely killing it. Just the timing, what they feed us, what they give us, it is perfect. Like
it's perfect.
When it first launched, and think of all the little behind the scenes, like things we would get on some different podcasts, Las Culturistas, you know, like it has been seriously an absolute joy to be a part of the Wicked of it all. It has been a joy, and I can't wait to see what continues to drop between this poster. It's been seriously like creme de la creme. Like people should study it. There should be like dissertations on it. It's gorgeous. Yeah.
It's so good. Well, and then she released Eternal Sunshine, the deluxe edition. Have you listened to it?
What is the
what's
one
your favorite
about
song?
It starts with an H. Oh my god. Yes.
I can't pronounce it. Hampstead.
That one's my favorite. I love Dandelion, kind of like bringing back like trap Ariana. That one's good.
Yes.
But yeah, okay, Eternal Sunshine, I can't say that I never got on to the album. I don't know what I was doing with my life when it dropped. There was probably just a bunch of other music that came out, but I kind of feel like I'm going to now dive into this album. What about you? What's your
It is so good. So my favorite that she released was Warm. I know it's not a fan favorite. Everyone's saying Dandelion, all of the things, but Warm to me is so good. And like it was so funny. I saw a meme this morning and it was her on Victorious remember when she got the throat surgery and she's like, I'm not gonna sing, but he couldn't say I couldn't sing, right? They were basically saying that was her when she signed the divorce papers. She didn't necessarily say that she couldn't sing and like put what happened. Because Hampstead, is that how you say it? Yeah. They're saying that's about Dalton because of something that happened, but it kind of details what happened with their relationship. But I loved Eternal Sunshine. I think it was one of my top 2 albums for Ariana Grande. I think it's so mature. I love that we got to grow up with her. I mean, I remember her on Victorious. I remember her transitioning into music the way with Mac Miller and like how she just rose to stardom. And so I really like that her music's matured and I can relate to it now more than ever. Everything that she's going through in her album, and I highly recommend it if you haven't listened to the deluxe
songs. And like now I need to like go into like the actual OG album itself.
It's so good. And Perfect for You is my favorite on that album. It's
love. Okay, what? I think that was it. It was just like a big week in podcasts in general. Yeah, Remi. Call Her Daddy Chappell, Lisa Rinna. That was a good episode.
Lisa
if you
Rinna.
haven't listened yet, you should. Lisa, I'm so excited because she has a podcast dropping with Harry Hamlin. I think the first episode did it drop like yesterday, I think. I need to give it a listen, but I'm excited. I've missed Lisa. I felt like I did need a little bit of a break. I do have to say with like the way she treated kind of the Kathy and the ending of it all, that final season she was on, and how she treated oh my god, I'm blanking her name. No. Bravo, Girly Pop. No, not Kim.
Oh, Kim Richards? Denise Richards. Sorry, Denise Richards.
Put the worst taste in my mouth. Like, I do not think Lisa handled any of that good. I'm not on her side.
I feel like she owned it though. Did she not? No. Okay.
I don't feel like she's owned it.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched Beverly Hills, but I know, I think also when I watch Housewives, like it's just like my white noise in the background. You know, it's just beautiful. It's there. I agree that there were scenarios that she had her fun. But I always thought that she ended like well-rounded. Which I know is a hot take because a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, I was so done with her." But I loved
you
Lisa
for like 90% of Lisa. Like everything, even like the Kim Richards stuff, like I always was like on her side. Oh no, did you like drop off? Oh no. Well, I wonder if Sam is going to be able to end this episode with me because she has exited the chat, exited the room. So maybe I will just like wrap this up solo. All that to say, thanks for listening, everybody. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment. Thanks to everybody who listens to us on Spotify, though. I love to see our Spotify numbers. But yeah, follow us at All That to Say Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok. In the show notes is where you can find all the links. But yeah, happy Sunday, everyone. Bye-bye.